What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Unlock Drift Tune Showcase series I'm doing on Forza Motorsport 5. In this episode I'm going to show you guys my Nissan Silvia S15, which is basically my main drift car right now on Forza Motorsport 5. First off, I'm going to show you all the upgrades I've done to the car. After that we're going through the tuning settings, and after that I'm going to show you guys some drifting clips I've done with this car. Okay, so let's go to the upgrades. Now, we're going to the conversions first, but we're not going to change anything because we're leaving the stock engine in this car, which is the SR20, and we don't have to change anything to the drivetrain because it's already rear-wheel drive, and that's what we want for drifting. So now moving on to the engine upgrades, which is right here, and I'm just going to go over all these different parts and show you which upgrade I've applied to it. So for the air filter, I've used the race upgrade. For the fuel system I use Sport. For the ignition I use Sport as well. For the exhaust I use the race upgrade. For the camshaft I'm using the street upgrade. For the valves I'm using the race upgrade. For the displacement I'm using the Sport upgrade. For the pistons and compression I'm using the race upgrade. For the single turbo I'm using the Sport upgrade. For the intercooler I'm using the race upgrade, and as well for the oil and cooling, and the flywheel is race as well. Okay, that's the engine upgrades, and that gives us a total of, let me see, 463 horsepower, which is a decent amount for this car. It's not too much, it's not overpowered or anything, it's perfect to me. Okay, so now move on to the platform and handling upgrades right here, and we're basically just gonna upgrade everything to race, because we just wanna be able to tune everything. So let's say if we don't upgrade the springs and dampers to race, we won't be able to tune the camber and stuff like that. So, and the same thing goes for the anti-roll bar. So yeah, we just want everything to race right here. And the same thing goes for the drivetrain upgrades, everything to race, all these four. Especially the transmission is very important, otherwise you won't be able to tune your gears properly. Okay, so now we move on to the tires and rims. For the tire compound I'm using the street tires, and for the tire width on the front I'm using the 215s, the 215 millimeter tires. Wow, I can't say that word properly. Anyway, for the rear tire width I'm using 255s, and for the rim style, which is basically the rims themselves, I think I'm using these Rojas, or however you pronounce it, I'm not sure. But I'm using the R25. Now let's see, the rim size, it's really up to you, whatever you use. Same for the rim styles, it doesn't really matter, but I'm using the 18-inch on the front and rear. Okay, now moving on to the aero and appearance. Well, that's really up to you as well, but I'll show you what I got on this. I'm using the Inks front bumper, I'm using the West wing, I'm using the top secret rear bumper and side skirts, and I'm using the West hood, I believe. Yeah. Okay, that's the upgrades already. Now let's move on to the tune. Let's go here. The tire pressure. For the front tire pressure I'm using 29 psi, and for the rear 28.5. Now move on to the gearings. Final drive is 3.78, and the first gear is 2.85, the second gear is 1.97, the third gear is 1.45, the fourth gear is 1.22, the fifth gear is 0.98, and the sixth gear is 0.80. That's the gearings. Now move on to the alignment. The front camber is negative 3.6 degrees, and the rear is negative 0.3. The toe, we leave that at 0, both front and rear. The front caster is set to 6.6 degrees. Now the anti-roll bars, you might not be able to get these exact numbers like the 18.74, but as long as you get close to it, like for example 18.84, it doesn't really matter as long as it's close to my numbers. Alright, so for the front I'm using 18.74, and for the rear I'm using 10.56. For the spring stiffness on the front is 674, and on the rear it's 481.4. The ride height is 5.6 inch on the front and rear. Now the damping, the rebound stiffness is 4.6 on the front and the rear is 3.9. The bump stiffness is 3.9 on the front and 3.1 on the rear. The aero, we haven't changed anything to that because we can't. And the brakes we left at stock, because I never tune the brakes, I just like them stock, to be honest. And the differential, the acceleration is set to 94% and the deceleration is 77%. Okay, so that's basically the tune. I will also upload this one to my storefront or whatever you want to call it on Forza 5, because you go to the setup manager and then you load setup. And then you basically just press search and then you type in my gamer tag right here on the creator, which is Spitzy, and then you'll be able to find my tune. Okay, yeah, that's the tune and the whole car actually. I'm now just gonna show you some drifting clips I've done with this car, and I really hope you enjoy this car and enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for watching.